Well, let's talk about the Nets here. That's where the show began. They're down 3-0. It's been a disaster. They're tonight going to try and avoid the sweep at home. And here was Kyrie Irving on what has gone wrong for Brooklyn.
Being in a series like this with guys that, we're all just trying to gel. And usually you're gelling around the right time. And that team in the other locker room is gelling at the right time. They've been gelling since Christmas. So for us, we're just in a new experience as a group, and we just got to respect that.
Oh my goodness! I wish you guys could have seen Jalen and Stephen A. when they heard that yesterday for the first time. Windy, Tim Leggs, and obviously Jay. I'll let you. When you heard Kyrie say that, what was your reaction?
Three things very quickly. Number one, no excuses. You're giving me a lot of excuses. Number two, lack of awareness around Kyrie. That is something that internally you can say to your teammates, but externally you don't say that to the public. Because one of the reasons why you guys couldn't gel, and I stood by Kyrie for this, his decision about the vaccine, but the repercussions for that decision led to James Harden not wanting to play and then Kevin Durant being hurt. And number three, just a lack of awareness around this entire team. Kyrie saying that, Ben Simmons with what he's wearing on the sideline, making everything about Ben Simmons, even the emoji he posts on IG, he usually does that, Greeny, when he's about to play, doing an interview, yeah, it's easy to insert me into the lineup, all ultimately to not play. If I'm a teammate of his, I'm looking at him with the side eye, like, man, look, I can't trust you. You're not accountable. All this makes it such a cluster fill in the blank for the Nets.
No, he couldn't be more right. Let's deal in the Kyrie of it. To begin with, Leggs, how about him saying that and his performance in this series?
Well, first of all, he's 100% accurate. I think if any of us could take a lesson, we should have taken it from last year with the Lakers. So when you have a lot of talent, you can't just go through the regular season in a certain way. Okay, guys get hurt, I understand that, but guys take a little bit longer than they need to maybe to come back. You have a situation like this where Kyrie, by his choice, elects not to play over half the season. Okay, you have the situation with James Harden. Kevin Durant goes out for a while. When you have talent, you think, hey, as long as we're healthy, right? How many times have we heard that? How many times have we get caught in the trap of talking about these teams in the regular season, saying, well, let's see if they're healthy, because we never know what that looks like. And then what happened to the Lakers last year? They got rolled by the Phoenix Suns. And now this team is getting rolled by a better team. Boston Celtics are better defensively. They've got two stars playing at a great level. Jason Tatum has arrived as a superstar in this league. They've got depth. They've got young legs. And they've got a tenacity about them. So if Kyrie's right, but I think we should just stop giving these teams credit during the regular season, the benefit of the doubt that it's all going to be okay if guys can just get healthy at April 15th. It just doesn't work that way.
That's exactly right. No, I mean, there's one idiot who even picked them to go all the way to the finals, and that idiot is me. But anyway, Windy, so let's instruct this idiot on what exactly it is he got wrong. The Kyrie of it all. Because it could not have gone worse than it has gone. Where does it go from here, assuming it ends tonight the way we expect it to?
Yeah, so, I mean, clearly Kyrie is talented enough to lead the league in a lot of things, but he'll never lead the league in rational analysis. And you know what's remarkable is this team actually was gelled. They were 21-9 in mid-December, in first place in the East by 3 games. They were doing just fine. And that's when they made the decision to bring Kyrie back as a part-time player. And yes, they did get hit with COVID and Durant got a knee injury, but they were never the same as a chemistry standpoint. I was around this team a lot early in the season. They used to enjoy playing together. When Kyrie came back, a lot of that changed, especially with James Harden. And they are now dealing with that. And they are in the 7th seed because their 3rd and 4th best players are hurt. They are in the 7th seed because Kevin Durant missed a chunk of the regular season. But they are down 3-0 in this series because they do not play well together, and their roster from 4 or 5 to like 10 or 11 is just frankly not that impressive. You put all of that together, you have a team heading to Cancun before the end of the month.
Now, look, I don't want to start talking about their future because they do have a game tonight. But let's face it, if this team was going to put up a fight, they would have done it the other day. So they do have to make a decision on Kyrie Irving about extending him on into the future. Kevin Durant made a decision to leave Golden State. Look at that team. I know they lost yesterday, but look at the beauty with which they play. The Nets are 180 degrees away from that. If you're the Nets, are you hitching your wagon for the future to Kyrie Irving?
Well, you're doing it if Kevin Durant wants it done. At the end of the day, this can be Kevin Durant's decision.
Why?
Because that's who KD chose to play with. At the end, in my
Have
opinion,
you watched KD in this series right now? Have you just? Are you
I understand.
not willing to let him generally manage your team?
I understand what you're looking at right now.
Yeah.
But you also are thinking about if next year, if you're able to have Ben Simmons, if you're able to have Kyrie Irving, what that looks like on paper moving next year with a different roster, potentially personnel-wise, that could be a different situation. It can't, like, I know we're captive in the moment now. I get it. It's a train wreck. It doesn't mean it's going to be the way next season.
Yeah, let's not conflate what Kevin Durant looks like in this series with Kevin Durant being cooked as a player. He's not. Right now, he is a guy that was not in rhythm, and is facing a defense that is absolutely executing a plan. And they've got the personnel to do it. No team in the league has more guys individually you can switch on to Kevin Durant to kind of at least make his night somewhat miserable, much less two at a time, knowing that he doesn't have other options on the floor to bail him out. This isn't Kevin Durant, what he's going to look like going forward, to Jay's point. So my answer to your question is yes. And I think, if anything, like I just said, they will learn you need to prioritize the regular season in order to be able to finish it off the way you want to. They didn't do that this year, and this is what you get when you have that kind of a regular season.
Do you have any reason to have faith? Wendy, I'll come to you. Any reason to have faith that Kyrie Irving will suddenly decide basketball is his primary priority in life, that Ben Simmons will decide that basketball is his primary priority in life, and that Kevin Durant, who I've got NBA stars on these shows and on NBA Countdown saying he's tapped out and he's quit and using words like that to describe an historically great player. It's unprecedented in my recollection, Wendy.
I'm going to judge people on their actions. Kyrie's actions have been Kyrie's actions. Ben Simmons' actions have been Ben Simmons' actions. But the situation is, Kyrie Irving has tripled down on his partnership with Kyrie Irving. He chose them and Brooklyn over a lot of other better options or more impressive options, in my opinion. Then last summer, when he did not have to, he signed a 4-year contract extension, locking himself in. And then this season, when James Harden and Kyrie Irving got cross with each other and it was going down, he backed Irving and approved the trade of Harden. That partnership, no matter what has happened with the Nets for the last 3 years, that partnership perseveres, and it will persevere during contract negotiations. I don't see how the Nets don't give Kyrie Irving at least a 4-year max contract, because otherwise, what do you do? If you don't give him the contract and he walks, Durant will be shortly out the door. So they have to make it work next year. If they don't make it work next year, I don't even know what's going to happen.
And so what is the change then? What changes? I mean, you're changing the coach? Are we deciding that this is Steve Nash's fault now? That to blame Steve Nash for what has happened to the Nets would be like blaming Kate Winslet for what happened to the Titanic, okay? She was there, but she had nothing to do with the fact that the boat sank. Steve Nash is just standing there watching this disaster.
No, well, standing there, I mean, look, everybody has culpability. I think there's a lot of in-game adjustments that I think sometimes you look at it and say, all right, things could have been done a little bit different. It makes you appreciate guys like Steve Kerr or Eric Spoelstra who have handled very hard personalities with championships on the line. But look, I think all these guys are going to be back next year. And I know people aren't going to like it, but like Wendy said, and like I said, I don't think KD's choosing another superstar, and you will look to see what version of himself Ben Simmons will be next year.
Final word.
Yeah, to the point about Nash, think about this. The guy hasn't come close to coaching the team he expected to coach since the day he got there. Until when? And even not now, because you don't have Ben Simmons, but this is the first time he's really had both stars out there at the same time. And who do you get? You get the #1 defensive team in the league with a superstar offensive player playing the best he's ever played. That's what you get. So, yeah, Steve Nash could do things differently. I don't think they've done a great job adjusting to what Kevin Durant is seeing. There's no question. Is that a fireable offense when you look at what he has coached for 2 years? No, I don't think that's the case either. And Kyrie Irving, you are going to give him a max offer, because you always have to ask yourself, well, what are we going to replace him with that's better? That's always going to be the question. So he's going to get that. There's no question in my mind. And the Nets, we're going to come back next year, and you'll probably pick them to go to the finals.
No, I'm done with that. No, under no circumstances. They're going to make that bed, then they're going to wind up sleeping in it. In the meantime, did you see this from LeBron over the weekend? Posting a video of himself dancing like in a tropical paradise. That's what who's having more fun right now, LeBron or Kevin Durant? You tell me.
Oh, no, this dude's in agony. do not mistake him dancing with some Los Lobos and looking like he's having a good time. He's tweeting about every damn game on TV.
I know.
He's watching everything. And trust me, he wants to be in the playoffs next year. That's his entire mission.
Go ahead, put the tweet up. We'll show you the tweet. I mean, he's not making that up. He actually tweeted, while he is tweeting about all of the games, I will not miss the postseason again for my career. This hurts. Okay, back to watching these games. Wendy, you've known him since high school. What was your reaction to that tweet?
LeBron James is an only child, and he will be the first to tell you that he likes to have the attention on him. And this is a guy who went to the finals 9 out of 12 years. He doesn't want to be at the beach in Mexico. That's not what he wants.
Unfortunately for LeBron, it's not table tennis. Okay, he's not out there by himself. So it's not all up to him. So for him to say that, guess what, LeBron? He's got to rely on other people. And he's got to rely on other people being healthy and showing up and who else he's playing with. So it's not just about LeBron. But I know how much this hurts him sitting at home, despite how much fun he's having. And he deserves, by the way, to have as much fun as he wants on a tropical island. Go ahead.